the corner where the trees at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. Hey there, Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. Just want to comment and say BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, baseball, boxing, golf, and much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Tight End. Well, on Tuesday this week, it was Monday Night Football last night, but I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn. JD, how we doing, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing today, man? It's a rainy day today out here.
It's been raining all day. It was one of those days where I just want to take a nap and just like put on like an old like 80s or 70s movie and just like go to sleep.
Oh man, you ain't kidding. I did it. I took me a nice little nap, nice little slumber.
There you go.
I think we kind of needed it. Kind of sleep that game off last night, right?
Yeah, we did.
It's one of those things, and emotions got high. Of course, obviously after that, the loss to a very talented Eagles football team. They're very talented. Got the best record in the NFL. But I said this last night, we're the two best teams in the NFL, in my assessment, and a lot of other people's assessment too, to be honest with you.
Yep.
But I know, we got to talk about some of the things that obviously plague us in the passing game. Also, too, the second half of games, the last 3 games, they haven't been shut out scoring. But we're going to get into some of that, man. Just talk about the grades. What about yourself, man? What do you think? How you been doing today?
Yeah, you're right as far as like sleeping it off. We had the late night post game show last night, and then this morning. Like I will say, it's put in perspective a little bit. Like when you watch sometimes these national media shows. I know we do the show, and a lot of the people who love our show because we know the team so well. It's not like some of these national guys who they're watching a million games a week. They can't really stay in tune with some of these teams and stuff. But I will say the one thing that really stood out to me in watching some of these national shows, I think Stephen A. Smith had the Chiefs as the #2 overall team in the NFL. He had Colin Cowherd had the Chiefs #2 overall team in the NFL. I think it's coming to a point now where like people aren't overreacting so much about the Chiefs anymore because they know when push comes to shove, when we get to playoffs, that's the team that's going to be there at the end. And on the other side, that team we played, that wasn't the Minnesota Vikings. That was the Philadelphia Eagles. It's the team who a lot of people were predicting to be the Super Bowl champs, or at least get back to the Super Bowl, or in the very least go to the NFC Championship game. So like, it's not what we didn't just lose to a bad team, especially a game that we had. And then another thing too, I heard also when we talked about last night, we didn't look good, but yet we were up 10 points at one point in that game. Take away Kelsey's fumble, we score on that drive. That's a 2-possession game pretty much, game over with the way our defense was playing, and that get the audience and the fans in the building like kind of going nuts after you score there. That game's kind of over potentially. But yeah, it sucks to lose, and we obviously have high expectations for this team, and they have high expectations for themselves. But yet, it's one game. We'll be in the playoffs here when things actually matter. But it's one game, and to look as bad as we did, and to still barely lose to the team who's one of the favorites to win this whole thing, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to hear everybody else's perspectives on things. And so one of my boys that I was on his show last week that played with the Eagles went on a talk show with the Eagles today that was kind of commenting on some of the things. And I got into the chats. Obviously, as Eagles fans, I'm a former Eagle. But I was trying to say my piece and couldn't get anything really said. And he was just like, the Chiefs threw their best, their best game at us, their toughest. And I'm just like, that wasn't our best game. Not at all. If they thought that was our best shot at beating those guys, then that tells you exactly how much better we are than everybody else in the NFL.
Yep.
When also one of the comments I made was, nobody's talking about how good our defense is. It's not. It's almost like they've been so used to the Chiefs not being a very dominant defensive team that they just forget about us. They forget about that we're ranked. I think when Ike Reese said, he was saying like second or fourth. I mean, I'm looking at different numbers, but we're dominated. We're dominating on the defensive side of the ball. We're giving fits to the offenses. And so scoring defense, I think we're third overall in total NFL. But we had their number. We had their number last night, and we let them off the hook. Dennis Green, right? We let them off the hook. They are who we thought they were.
Yeah.
To me, man, it's just, it's one of those things that we'll bounce back from this. We'll bounce back from this because we are the Super Bowl defending champs, right? It was a Super Bowl last year. This is what we seen yesterday.
Yep.
To me, that's going to be the two teams in the Super Bowl again. It's going to be a run back from what it was last year, okay? As boring as it may be for everybody else in the NFL and around the league, to me, this is exactly what it looks like it's going. So,
as far as the ratings will tell you, I don't think it's boring, JD. It's the highest rated Monday Night Football game in 27 years.
What?
Yeah, highest rated Monday night game in 27 years. So people wanted to see this rematch last night. And yeah, if it is part 3 going back to the Super Bowl, I think people are going to tune in for that one too. You have a lot of the stars of tomorrow and the stars of now in those games between Jalen Hurts and Mahomes. So people want to see the two guys duel. But yeah, I will say that the one thing I did notice on the morning shows today was Colin Cowherd. He's got some weird takes sometimes, but I'll say this. I give him credit. He gave the Chiefs, he said Chiefs are number 2 behind the Eagles, but he said that it's kind of he had a whole monologue about it, but there was a whole shift in the Mahomes and the Chiefs dynasty. First half of the dynasty was, fireworks, offensive, scoring 40 points a games. But now we're moving to phase 2 of the dynasty where this is more about the defense kind of being the key. And Mahomes kind of, how Brady had multiple different phases. He had the, game manager phase. He had the Randy Moss, Wes Welker, high offensive phase. So, this is, he's a young guy, so there's going to be many phases to this. But as long as he's in the league, the Chiefs are always going to be in there, in the mix. But, yeah, and so, it's the defense is kind of the main part of this team. And, how does our offense kind of help the defense kind of take us to that next level? And drops, that ain't going to help. So, figuring out these types of things. So,
yeah. Yeah, no, that's the truth. That's true. There's a couple people that I'm not really agree with. One was Dan Orlowski, Dano. When he was talking about, Patrick and the wide receiver being on the same page. And it's true that, he's not lying about that at all. And when you look at it, you can tell that he's thinking one thing, wide receiver's thinking another. Or it's just not enough of that communication where everybody's saying, hey, if you have this, is what you do. If you don't have this, is what you have to do on this. It's got to be the option route, but that goes into just repetition. That goes into coaching. That goes into, guys talking it out. It goes into one of the things I put on Twitter is after practice, talking about these things. Throw on the 25 extra deep balls at the end. Hey, you got this. What do you do? Right? Go through the scenarios. And so what I loved about Al Saunders when we had him on last week, Al was talking about when you get something wrong, you immediately address what the issue was. You don't wait to get to field session. You address it immediately, right now. And so the best thing is that way you can move forward. And it helps just in the communication and the consistency of what it is you're trying to do out there on the football field by making sure that the communication is wide open to everybody, right? Coaches, players, everybody understands what's going on.
Well, it's also one of those things too. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I had a dog when I was younger. But I remember as a kid, if a dog did something wrong, you say no right away and let them know why that is. So, I mean, he's not taking a crap in your living room. The next time he knows that's wrong, so he's not going to do that anymore. And if a kid does something wrong, you say no, you don't do that, and you tell them why. And like, oh crap, the last time I did this, I got in trouble. Never doing that again. It's like one of those things. You kind of let the people know right away instead of waiting till film session, not really seeing the gravity of a mistake of how that impacts the game, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And the thing is, some people tell you don't tell your kids now anymore today.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. That's everybody has different, but I think that you do have to address certain things. That's problems. I'll give you a scenario. Me and my mom was speaking one day. We were kind of like toward the doorway at the back of my house, and my son walks through. And while we're talking, he walks right between us. And after he gets around the corner, I tell him, I said, Mom, do you see that? Can you believe he just walked this? But she said, why didn't you correct him right then when he was doing it? I was like, wow, you know what? You're right. I should have been like, what are you doing? You see two people talking. You don't walk between us when it's at. And I was going to do it later. But the thing was, she was just like, corrected issue now, right? Yeah. That way he understands that it may be a little bit of these things of, shame and just keeping people accountable. That's what it's all about, is keeping our people accountable. Yeah. It's good to see people in here, man. We got to talk about some things tonight. So let's have some good conversations. But while I give out the grades, we'll get into some of these things in between some of the things that we're talking about here.
Yeah, and I see a lot of receiver talk. Not to say we're not going to answer some of those questions tonight, but tomorrow night, live stream 7 p.m. our Chief Concern show. We're going to have Larry Kirksey on. JD, I mean, this guy's got a you guys look him up on Wikipedia, you see his resume, man. It's like that long. They'll call him on Wikipedia when it shows person's resume. I mean, this guy is Coach Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens. I mean, that's what we're talking about here, amongst a lot of other guys, Andre Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, so many dudes around the league. The guy knows what he's talking about. So, and what better week to have a guy who knows receivers like the back of his hand come and talk about what we're going through with the receivers in Kansas City. So that's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So you guys have a lot of questions about receivers. That's the time to throw those questions in there.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, when I'm telling you, a guy that is knowledgeable, who helped develop these guys, right? And, these are like pros. And so Alessandro said this again. He said, good players want to be coached up. They want to be developed. They want to know what they're doing wrong so they can get better. And so Larry Kirksey was that guy. He can go to Jerry Rice, who had all the accolades, the best receiver in the game. He can go to Jerry. Jerry can go to him and say, hey, man, what did I do wrong? What can I get better? And so Larry's that guy. He facilitated getting those guys to where they were. T.O. the same way, right? He just, when I'm telling you it's going to be a treat tomorrow, woo, all wide receiver stuff. Believe me, the guy to speak to, if you missed Al Saunders last week, Larry Kirksey, this is his professional. I mean, this is what he does, right? So don't miss that. We're gonna come out there tomorrow, man, and come join us on that part of it too. Okay?
Yeah, it's gonna be good stuff.
Yes.
I'll tell you one thing. One thing I have been waiting for all day is your grades, JD. I want to see how. I think everyone in here in the chat knows Professor Dunn when he puts his glasses on, when he's got the notepad out. No one's safe. No one's safe.
Yeah. But we'll get into it. We'll talk a little bit. I'm gonna try to be kind of concise with some of my things, my assessment. I think we all seen the game, so we'll kind of talk about it. I'll make a couple of points that I think is very important for us as far as where we need to go, where we need to get better at in particular positions. Okay. But I tell you what, man, how about, I'm going to start on the defensive side of the ball today.
Ooh, starting with the good. All right. I see.
Yeah. We'll start on the defensive side of the ball today. And the thing is, we always kind of wait toward the end. I think I use a lot of my win door for the offense, but I'm going to start with the defense today and go ahead and give them their love. All right. So the first group I'm going to start with is our defensive line. Okay. Now, I think Spags did a tremendous job of getting these guys prepared about what it is he wanted them to do. and it was getting after Jalen Hurts. And he did a masterful job just calling it, as far as like calling the blitz. Then he said, this is what Spags does. He can disguise his blitzes. He has guys coming from all different places. The Philadelphia Eagles offensive line was absolutely confused. When they were making calls, they just didn't know who they sliding to, what the count was. And so that's the great thing about Spags, because Spags does when I'm telling you the field study that he makes as far as guys' tendencies, what their strengths are and their weaknesses, he goes in to exploit it. And he did that. And the guys did a great job the entire first half. Okay. Second half was a little bit different. It was a different story. And it really was. I didn't really look at that, man. It was something else. But the D-line, Chris Jones, stellar. I mean, I'm telling you, 2 sacks. What he was doing last night, man, was absolutely just demolishing the guys in front of him. There were some times that obviously he was getting double teamed, triple teamed, and he was switching up, right, going from defensive tackle to defensive end. Killed Lane Johnson, on some of those things, and that's the thing about Lane Johnson is one of the best tackles in the league, if not the best right tackle in the league. And so Chris threw him around like he was Reggie White doing it that we used to see all the time back in the day. But the D-line did a great job. Other guys did a decent job. We still going to need more. I'm just going to be honest. We need more from some of the guys on the defensive line. And so if you're not hearing their name called, and then that means they're not doing enough. Okay, that's just how it works, right? Defensively is when you actually want to hear your name, because that means you're actually wrecking shop and you're making a difference. And so he's going to need a little bit more help on those sides. Charles Amena, who was he didn't really hear his name a whole lot last night. He was kind of trying to anchor the defense a little bit, but needed a little bit out of Charles last night. Didn't quite get it. Same thing with Kolofkis. Same thing, kind of disappeared. And Kolofkis is the smallest size defensive end. He was getting blocked. He got blocked by a tight end, like really well. But the D-line grade, I gave him a C+. Is what I gave him. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, C+ on the D-line. Right, and part of the problem, you got to realize we're going against one of the best offensive lines in the business. When I watched these guys work today, when I was going over film, I could tell why they're one of the best offensive lines in the business. Okay, I mean, they get up on second level fast. They're double teams. I mean, they are in sync with each other. And they did a great job, man, to just blocking first level, getting to the second level, and making some lanes. My friend, I told him, I said, man, here's the thing. If DeAndre Swift starts to get off for the Eagles, that's going to be a problem for us. And guess what? That's what ended up happening. When they start really kind of making it back, they put the ball in his hands. That's where it went to. It wasn't Jalen Hurts. It wasn't A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, obviously, but DeAndre Swift, he's a weapon.
Tore it up.
He's the real deal, man. He's the real deal. Now, I couldn't understand why they wouldn't use him at the first of the season, but that's why I got the D-line. I gave him a C+. Okay.
Fun fact, not to rain on anyone's parade here, but the Kansas City Chiefs selected CEH before DeAndre Swift in that draft.
Oh, did they? Okay. Well, hey, CEH had a nice little carry last night.
He did.
It was good to see that. Okay.
Well, Austin Eckler last night is what it looked like.
Yeah, you know me. I'm not a CEH basher. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
I just, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. But, Swift, they got rid of him up there in Detroit.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, man. So even some guys might go and resurrect. CEH might leave here and go somewhere and become that guy.
Yeah, 100%.
So let's go ahead and move on. We're gonna go back to the next one, the linebackers, the linebacking core. All right. At linebackers, man, I keep saying this, and it is absolutely true. Nick Bolton is missed. We miss that leadership. We miss that playmaking ability, like that sideline to sideline the way he's able to dissect plays and be gap sound is one of the things we miss. Also, too, making the tackles when it's needed. And he's one of those guys that just makes plays. I can't wait for him to get back. I was thinking, they was missing Goddard last night, obviously. Well, we were missing Nick Bolton. He's a guy, right? So that's the tit for tat you can look at. But Willie Gay played a great job last night, man. He lights out. He made some plays. His ability just to stop and start and go and just like hit a gap, man, I'm telling you, he's surprising. His athletic ability, the speed that he's able to dissect and go. Now, sometimes you don't always get it right, but when he sees it, he goes right now. He does. Now, the players, Drew Tranquill, another guy. He's just right on time when he needs to be. Right on time needs to be. I always, my one knock on Drew Tranquill is what? He's a smaller guy. He gets, kind of eaten up with those linemen inside putting their hands on him. And that's probably the problem. So, but he played a good game. You could tell he was tired. He was all over the place. But I love his passion. I love Drew Tranquill. I like him a whole lot, man. He's a player's player. That's who he is, right? It's a guy that you need to have with you because he's going to go out there and do his job to the best of his ability. Leo Chanel, another guy that came out there, did a pretty decent job with a fast team like this. Leo played well. He played well. Kind of set the edge, came off some blocks and made some plays. So my linebacker group, I'm gonna give these guys. I'm gonna give them a C+ also. That's what I was gonna see, C+ also with those guys. And the only fact that there was some things in the game when I said talking about DeAndre Swift, there were some plays that Willie Gay did miss where he wasn't gap set. Sometimes you try to run backside to make a play, and all of a sudden DeAndre Swift is up on the sideline. Okay, he's cutting back inside, and then cutting back inside. Well, that's where Drew Tranquill should be to make that play. And so C+, because I think they did a tremendous job recognizing what they needed to recognize, making plays when they needed to. But sometimes when we needed for them to make the plays, they wasn't there. They weren't in the fits where they needed to be. So I just gave them a C+. It's a solid C+. But I'm showing the linebackers some love. I'm showing them some love. But we gave up too much on the running game. I'm just going to be honest with you. Okay, DeAndre Swift shouldn't have had that many yards rushing, and we did a great job. So when you look at the stats, we killed it. But we're just that much better. Go ahead.
I was going to say as far as looking at because his biggest run of the night was a 35-yard run where he got it from like the jet. It was a jet sweep kind of play. That wasn't. Where does that fall on? Is that linebackers or when it's a jet sweep play? It's not like a traditional run play where he's coming out of the backfield like a normal running back. I mean, it's more like a. Where would you say? You probably watched that play today. Is that linebackers fault right there?
It's linebacker defensive end. There's somebody setting the edge. You can't let somebody set the edge on you. And he scored, and they set the edge on scoring down, to the I want to say, what is that? The west side of the stadium, and the very first touchdown when he got on outside. Now they held obviously, our guys, Evans, and then also Edwards and who was the defensive end at the time? Not sure, but they held him. Lane Johnson both was two holes. How you miss that as a ref?
Yeah.
How you miss that? I mean, they literally like turning their body, and you can see their hands pulling at their jerseys.
On a touchdown run too, they held Mike Edwards.
Yes, they did. Mike Edwards. They absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. Mike Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I ain't even gonna get on the refs. This is just grading the players, the refs. But that's what it is. You can't let them. Somebody's got to set the edge right there. Okay, you can't let them go outside because when you get out that way and nobody's got contained, nobody's got shoot, it could be a touchdown. You see it. He could have walked right in, and he did. So you got to do a much better job. Defensive ends got to press. You got to get that guy back. When you press and release, we got to push his shoulders back. That's what it is. That's what it. That's how it's got to be done. and you push him in the backfield. So you turn his shoulders so he can't get up on the field on you, right? And just make a pile if you need to on the outside. But that's what that is. But he heck, that sucker had shoot. You see, what did we end up having? Rushing. Yeah, 76 yards, 12 attempts, 6.3 average, 6.3.
Yeah.
So yeah, so let's go to our DBs, right? DBs, man. This group right here is our strong suit of the team. All right. They are without a doubt our most consistent group of guys. I think these guys play together. They play with so much emotion and passion. They are out there having fun. They are out there having fun. Sneed, look, I have no problem with Sneed and his penalties. I love aggressive call. Sneed taking A.J. Brown out of the game last night, I don't think people understand like how big of a task that is. One of the best receivers in the game, okay? He absolutely, when I'm telling you, A.J. Brown is pissed off. He's on the sideline fussing, right? And I said this, as soon as something happens, A.J. Brown, he's going to show it. He's going to let everybody know. Well, the man that got him that way was Sneed. Sneed did it to him, okay? And he was in his tail all night. McDuffie coming in, getting the sacks, and I mean, he's all over the place. And he's just so surprising because he seemed like he's in each and every play. Then I wish toward the end we had actually put him on assignment with Devontae Smith, okay? And we didn't do that. So we didn't get to do that at all. Hold on real quick. Barbershop.
JD, if you watch the end zone view of that, you see the safeties rock and roll.
Hey, Shop. Hey, Shop. I actually got you on. I got you on speaker. We're doing our live show right now. So
you got a special treat in the house.
Yeah, explain it to me. We were talking about this. One of the plays.
All right. So if you watch the end zone version, you'll see the safeties right before the safety cook with the yellow shoes on. He backs up.
Yeah.
And Justin Reed comes down. So Justin Reed actually becomes the Sam linebacker to the tight end side.
Uh-huh.
And then Willie Gay ended up becoming the Mike, and Tranquil becomes the Will.
Yes.
So the Mike linebacker, like you say, he's in that A gap, and when the center pulls, he has to go, but he's supposed to have Reed on the outside, so he's supposed to fit inside of Kelsey. Reed fits outside of Kelsey.
Yeah. So we're talking about.
He definitely doesn't supposed to shoot backside.
No.
The question is, does he supposed to? No, you can't shoot backside unless you make the tackle, because we're gonna be short on the front side.
Yeah, and that's what I was looking at. That was my assessment. And so what I was doing, I just now graded the linebackers. Sean Barber. This is Sean Barber, everybody. Barbershop. I just graded the linebackers. I gave him a C+ for the game. That was my grade I gave for the game.
You're a tough teacher.
I'm tough, man. I am.
He is.
I definitely am. So when I'm looking at it, what would you grade them? This is a good question right here. I got my man on here. What would you grade the linebackers? Quick assessment.
I'm gonna give him an A.
You gonna give him an A?
I'm a linebacker. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Linebackers, they get A's.
Wait till you get the tight ends, JD or Sean.
See, they'll shout when I give the tight ends A's. Everybody's like, "Oh man, JD, you being biased. You can't. I can't help it, man. It's your guys. Right? Yeah. So, hey, my brother, I appreciate that so much. Man. So, Shop, we gotta get you on the show when I do this with the grade, man.
Let's do it next week.
All right.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
Okay. All right. We got all the people talking about it, man. Showing the love in here, Shop, listening to you. So appreciate it, man. The assessment, brother. All right.
Yeah, we'll break it down. When we together, we'll break it down for real.
Okay. That sounds good, my brother. All right. Love you. I'll talk to you.
See you, Barbershop.
All right, JD.
All right.
Peace.
Hey. Good, yeah. And you know, I was talking to him about you know, I was sending the video like, man, this they out of the lane, the gaps, you know, and that's what we were kind of conversing about. So I sent him a video of that particular thing, and it, you know, it's right. It's right. He gave my A. That's funny. Linebacker. But let me finish up, man, with my guys at the DBs. Okay. And so, like I said, I wish we kind of made an assignment for McDuffie to get on Devontae Smith, because we knew it was going to happen, right? At some point, when you know you don't have Goddard, they started figuring out our blitzing package, what Spags was kind of doing. It become much better at doing that. At that moment, you're sitting there saying, you got to get your best cover guy, which I believe is McDuffie, one-on-one, on a much faster receiver, okay? So Devontae Smith, that can run with him. It's when you have Mike Edwards on Devontae Smith, that is a mismatch, okay? And that's what teams try to do offensively, is find the mismatch, okay? My guy's going to be better than your guy on this play. When he came down there, almost scored, that's what they were looking at. That's exactly what they were looking at. And so if you're not going to hit home with your blitz, then you better have somebody back there that's going to be able to cover, right? And don't let it be the guys who are just coming off the end of the bench who hadn't really shown up for the game. The two best guys is A.J. Brown, which Snead had locked down. He had him on lockdown. You had him in jail all night last night. And then you take McDuffie and put him on Devontae Smith. So, but just through that assessment, from what I give, I'm going to give my DBs, okay, I'm going to give them guys a B+. B+ for what they did. And really, you know, maybe want to give them A. Some of the things, maybe tackling, you know, little things. I'm a hard grader, but that B+ is good. That B+ is as good as an A, you know. So, right. And getting the interception by Steve too, man. That was a great play. Great play. Now he almost screwed it up.
I mean, A.J. Brown's a big boy.
He is. He took that sucker from him.
He did.
Man, I was like, oh man. Hey, please let y'all ankles touch or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think they did. You know, I was there watching it last night.
I gotta say, the ESPN's coverage of that whole thing, and then it's a commercial break. They go right back to Chiefs have the ball, like no explanation at all as to what happens. Like, what's going on here? Like, I mean, we all saw the shin touched, but like there was no explanation. They went right to the play. It's like, come on.
Yeah. So yeah, man. But overall, I think the defense was a B. That's what I'm looking at, right? From everybody's grades, the defense got a B. I wish we had kept him out of the end zone more than what we did, but I put some of that on just kind of the offense, you know, stalling out, giving up the turnovers, the fumbles. But our defense, man, played. I mean, they B+, man. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, we know it's a great team. Jalen Hurts and all those guys on his side do a great job. So that's where he at. Spags did a tremendous job. Second half could have been a lot better with getting some of those things, you know, hitting home. That's where we needed our guys to really come in and stop Jalen Hurts from running. We needed to have our pass rush become a lot better toward their part, right? And what you want to see is at the end of the game, like they were doing with their defensive ends, like they were just coming. Like you couldn't take it out of them, right? And it's got to be a relentless thing that you do toward the end. So, but yeah, man. Yeah, those guys, man, did a tremendous job. Thoughts? Let's look at some of the chat, man. What we got here? Let's look at what some people are saying.
So a lot of people are big fans of the U and Barbershop, obviously.
Yeah. Barbershop's my guy, man. I tell you what, and the thing is, you know, I know, you know, linebacker play. I started college at linebacker, outside defensive end. So, you know, I know about it, you know, gap, lanes, integrity, all those different things. And of course, what I'm looking at from the offensive where you don't want guys to be. But yeah, now Shop, man, we'll get him out here, man, so we can go through a full assessment of these things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Full assessment.
Yeah, it seems like JD. I know you've been talking a lot about the defense stuff. Everyone's praising the DBs. People just want you to get the offense. That's what it seems like. I see a lot of receiver talks. Six receivers you don't have any basically. This was sad coming off a bye, and they were still looking like this. Justin Watson was known for our best receiver of the season, making mistakes. I guess kind of like quarterbacks, you got 7. Yeah, I don't really get that one, but I mean, yeah. So I think everyone's coming to this party, JD. They want to see what you got to say about these wide receivers.
Yeah. Okay. For sure. So we'll go ahead and get into the offensive side of the ball. Well, I'm gonna start with the O-line first. Okay. The O-line last night did a wonderful job, blocking for Pacheco. They came off the football, hit guys in the mouth, and they were putting their cleats in the ground, and I'm talking about absolutely grinding, pushing on bodies. And at times, because we were doing so well, I just don't understand why we didn't stay with it second half. I don't know for the life of me. And then that's probably one of the bigger stories and bigger issues that I have with it is because what we do is we get out of sync if our passing game is not working. And so that's when you start seeing the punts, because we're not sustaining drives. We sustain drives with rushing the football, running the football. When you're up by 10, okay, you're up by 10. Not that you become conservative with your play calling, all right, but you do the things that was working first half, running the football. Well, we stopped going with the, inside zone and the traps and the counters and whatnot. We didn't really see a whole lot of that the second half. I didn't. And so I started seeing a little bit more of the wide zone, more of the take time to get a guy into, the gap instead of making the one cut and just going. Or for Pacheco, who's better running down the hill and cutting inside of the line, didn't really see a whole lot of that. All right. That's not O-line's problem. It's not. Okay. I'm just be real here. That to me is a failure on the play calling, putting those guys in position, especially things that was working the first half. And so when you sit over here, Ajay Pacheco had 19 carries for 89 yards, 4.7. Before that, he was absolutely, I'm talking about just demolishing the defensive line. And so the hard runs he was making, or the 15 he dip out for, that's what you're looking for. It ain't always going to be pretty. Every time he ain't going to break one for 8 or 12 yards. The 4 times might just be the way to go, right? The way I look at it, if I'm not mistaken, 4 yards here, 3 yards there, another 4, that's a first down. Correct, Marcus? If I'm doing my math correctly, right?
Oh, yeah.
So every 10 yards is first down. That's how it's supposed to work, right? 4 downs. When I seen the first half, the things that we were doing, we were running. When we scored in the red zone to Justin Watson, it was run, pass. So the run was setting up the pass because they had to honor it. The defense had to honor what we were doing. The big guys up front love blocking D linemen and linebackers. Where we get problems, the reason, okay, I'm not saying the reason, part of the reason why we have penalties, and it's on these guys, I'm not taking away from anything else, that Donovan Smith had the holding calls and whatnot is because we got fast defensive ends he's got to grab and hold on to where he wants to come off and throw these guys around. And maybe it's not his strong suit is to stay engaged with a guy that's got all the speed. Okay? Just be honest here. He didn't have his best game last night. The penalties killed us. That went into the holding. The call on Creed was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Didn't make any sense to me. I can't believe they made that call. They would never make that call again on anybody else, seriously, because we see it. That's what the center does all game. He's making an assessment. He can do whatever he needs to do. He can sit his butt down. That is, without a doubt, that is offsides, a neutral zone infraction all day. and they called it on Creed. I was dumbfounded with that one. That ridiculous. But other than that, man, Thuney, Trey Smith, Juwan Taylor, needs to get better on some of those things. But without a doubt, yes, Sleepy Face, we ran away from the run game, and we should have stuck to it because it was working. That's how you manage. That's how you keep a team like that, especially when it's time for the passing. Hey, you hit jokers in their legs, in they ribs, a couple of times in the throat. That'll slow that pass rush down.
Yeah,
that'll slow that pass rush down. I'm telling you, like a little extra shot. And I'm just saying, this is how it works with us. When you sitting over, you blocking a guy. All right, you take everything you possibly can to take as much energy out of that dude at joke as possible. Right? That's what it's all about. That's why we're talking about when they do things against, we tell our DBs to beat up those little wide receivers all game. You get physical with it. Our guys want to get physical. We don't want to be on a retreat. Retreating is passing the football with these big guys. Okay? They don't like that. They don't like that as much. So the O-line, I think they did a pretty good job. I gave them a C+. Okay? I gave these guys a C+. They gave Pat some time. I think they did a pretty good job in the run game. Some plays they needed to finish, but I don't like the penalties. But C+, I think, is a fair grade for our O-line. Okay,
I agree, and that's also one of the best D lines in the league. So I mean,
without a doubt. And you, boy,
no slouch over there.
You could see it. They had their hands full. Sweat, no, those jokers, they were coming. Hey, man.
From the first play of the game when was it?
Sorry, they try to double it. Oh man, with Noah Gray trying to hit him, and then I'm like, how do y'all not get this guy? No, seriously, for real. And that's just a bad set. Like, Juwan should have known he got to sit back deeper. Soon as Noah misses him, hell, Noah should have cut him. I would have went straight for his, for a stop. So it's butt down. If you ain't gonna get his hands on him, do something. Pinch him, something. I don't care. Yell at him. Hey, call his name out. Oh, sign, whatever. But that's what it was, man. That's what it was. C+ for them. Running backs. Okay. Running backs. Pacheco, man, daggone. I just, if I had a firecracker like that, a guy that just was so energetic, who's trying to run through brick walls, trying to bash his feet through concrete, who would run out of quicksand, okay? Isaiah Pacheco's your guy. And for whatever reason, we decided we weren't going to go back to him in the second half like we did at first. We were going to ride the horse. I don't get it. I just don't understand. Thank God we ran him on third down. Got their first down on third down. I'm like, yeah, perfect. That's how it's supposed to look. But
you're talking about that 4th and 2 play?
Yeah, was it 4th and 2?
The 4th and 2 play?
Yeah, we got the first down. We had Tony in the backfield. He went to the outside of the dive. Yeah, okay. But him, my man CH, come on. Hey, CH, how you doing, buddy? 2 for 20. How you doing?
Let's give him some love.
Absolutely, CH some love. No doubt. Okay? He came in and he contributed. That's all we needed for him to do. That was it. It was all positive yards. So, well done. Hat tip to him. There we go.
All 3 runners looked really good last night. McKinnon, obviously Pacheco had the 19 carries, the bulk of it, but like all 3 of them really, in the limited carries they had, McKinnon looked good, and so did CH.
Yeah, well, we other running back too, Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, that's right. Our Swiss Army knife, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. I don't hate it. I was like, actually, you know what? That's a great idea, right?
Get him the ball.
Get the ball to the hands of the playmakers, right? Get him out in space and let them do their work. So, these guys, man, I gave the running back room, I gave them a B plus. Gave them a B plus. Still need to get Pacheco up in the line of scrimmage, hit those linebackers, and get Pat a little bit more room. A little bit more room. Don't set your feet all the way back there. You got to go all the way up to the line of scrimmage, okay? Square them up, okay, and move your feet. Thud, move your feet, okay? That was the only thing. That's only coaching point I really have. Other than that, the guys did well. B plus to those guys. Okay, so let's go on and get into it. All right, wide receiver group. Woo! All right. Okay. So I'm a try to be as fair as possible. All right. And I said this last night. But we lack a deep receiver. We don't have a deep ball receiver. We don't. At least right now. Nobody consistent. And that's our problem. And one of the things is either we're misjudging the ball when it's in the air, which is always a tough catches. I don't think people understand that, how tough a deep ball is, right? Because the ball hangs up in there. You're just thinking in your head, do not miss, don't drop, don't drop. The next thing you know, you drop it. I hated that MVS dropped that pass last night because I thought if he catches this ball and he scores, people would back up off him a little bit more, right? And you will see, I would think the first half of the season, what you didn't get to see from him, people will be more optimistic, right? And so it didn't happen. And that's a shame. This is the reason we brought MVS in. We brought him in to be our deep ball receiver. Pure and simple. We paid him a boatload of money for those things, for that right. And he hasn't delivered. He has not delivered. We got to figure something out. I wouldn't be mad to give some of those balls to Rashee Rice as a deep route receiver. I know McCall Hardman had gotten hurt. His thumb was hurt last night, so he couldn't do it. Kadarius Toney, like you said, is a Swiss Army knife. We're using him, trying to get the ball in space, different places. But we need to utilize him too. But Justin Watson and MVS, who are supposed to be our guys that take the top off the defense, we're in a bad way right now. We're in a bad way right now, okay? And the only way that you're going to be able to deal with this is going back to work. I know everybody didn't like the whole, Travis Kelce getting out there and like, oh, he keeps saying the same thing, go back to work. Well, what else you got to do? In football, that's what you have to do. You almost got to practice it out. You got to almost practice perfect to play perfect. So you will play like you practice. So you got to make your practices almost perfect to take it on into the game. But I don't care what it is, what these guys need to do, but daggone it, they need to do it. So, yeah, it is that extra time after practice. It is that extra time in the meeting room. It is that extra time for Patrick Mahomes and the coaches and the offensive coordinator to get on the same page. Because, yeah, it's after the bye, and this right here we just seen last night is not acceptable. All right? It's not. Rashee Rice should have got more looks than what he got. He makes a great play in the first half, making a guy miss, getting up the sideline, and then all of a sudden it's like he just disappeared. Yep. And we see too much of this in the game. We're seeing too much of these things happen in the game. I don't know if it's rotation. We started with Kadarius Toney, Justin Watson, Rashee Rice. Those three guys should be our staple. And McCall Hardman. Okay? And then Sky Moore, MVS, they work their way in. And I like Sky. I think Sky, I think he's better coming off the bench, to maybe see what everybody's doing out there, see what the defense is doing, and then he comes in, and then he could go ahead and make a difference in the game. But Patrick loved Justin Watson, 11 targets. He had 5 receptions. Big drops, wrong route running, not on the same page. That to me, that shouldn't happen right now. It shouldn't be happening. It should be getting better. It looked like we regressed a little bit. But maybe okay, JD, hold on. Calm down. Let me be fair. This is against a very good football team. But these are the times that you need to show up against teams like this, right? And that's all I'm asking for. Okay. I'm not being any type of way to Justin Watson. I think he's a very talented receiver. I love what he's been doing for us. Believe me, because nobody else has been stepping up, and he's been our guy. Okay? He's been our guy. Other guys around him need to step up. We shouldn't have to lean on him all the time to make a play. And I don't know if it's just, like I said, the rotation, the tempo of things. That goes into the coaching. Those things are a part of nagging those guys making those calls. So it ain't all on the wide receiver. I think it's a combination of things, a combination of reasons. Said, yeah, the miss of EB the most, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Because EB wouldn't take none of this. I'm telling you, he would address this weeks ago to get these guys right. He would have made sure those dudes would have been out there practicing, making sure everybody's on the same page. He would have kept everybody accountable. And the thing is, guys didn't really like that, but daggone it, hey, they benefited from it.
Yep.
They benefited from EB being that guy. Sometimes you got to say hi to the bad guy. EB would have been the bad guy. Look, ain't no love lost. Look, we trying to get better. You can get your feelings caught in this all you want to, because I'm saying things to you, right? And you don't like what I say and it hurts your feelings, but daggone it, this is the standard. This is what we expected. This is what we expected. EB would have, without a doubt, would have made sure those guys are getting on the same page. Look what he's doing out there in Washington. Them suckers wasn't really, they wasn't nothing, man. We know we got Terry McLaurin. He's doing his thing. Sam Howell playing lights out right now. But it took Ron Rivera sitting there saying, we got wide receivers coming in the room talking about EB is coaching them too hard. You know what? So what? Big deal. Pull your big boys' draws on. How about that? That's what this is all about. This is a performance-based business. Everybody's being held accountable. Same time to pat a dude up. Look, fine. We done pat you on the back. All you need to do. We done burnt you. Now it's time for your tail to grow up. This is what we need to start seeing. I pat you on the back. Look, hey, MVS, pick you up. Come on, MVS. Let's go to work. That's what we do. Let's go to work. MVS, whatever that means, let's do it. Okay? You don't like dropping the passes, right? Then fine. Let's make sure that we catching 100 balls after practice we need to. Whatever that means. Whatever that go to work means. When Travis Kelce is saying that, which I know what that means, that's what these guys is all about. That's how it happens in the NFL. That's the only way you're going to be able to do that. You're not going to get better by osmosis. You can think about catching the ball, but it's not. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You got to go to work. You have to. So, wide receiver core and Kadarius Toney, we need to get him more touches. Get him more involved. I loved it. It's almost like I see what they were thinking, like giving Sky Moore a return to responsibility, because McCole Hardman was going to have a role in this game. Man, he was going to have a role. That sucker got hurt, man. So that's just it's unfortunate. But I think we're going to be all right, man. We're going to be all right because I know they're going to go to work. Andy's going to get these guys right, okay? And it is going to take that okay, look, we played a very good football team. The best in the NFC, probably one of the top 2 or 3 teams, if not right now because of the record, you could say arguably the best team in football right now, right? You could say that, okay? And we had these guys, we should have hung up 35 on them. Easy. The turnovers and the penalties, killing us. Fumbles, Woo! We are, without a doubt, everybody's making the same thing. We are beating ourselves. It ain't that teams ain't beating us. We are beating ourselves. That's a fact. We are our own worst enemy right now. We are our own worst enemy. So we got to make sure that we get this squared away. We have to. We got to be crisp in our routes. At the top of the route, running the route, and everybody's got to be on the same page. Same page. So with that, I'm going to give our wide receiver group. Man, I'm actually going to give them.
Oh, come on! Don't be a kind grader now, JD.
Hey man, I want these guys to have. I'm giving them hope. Okay, giving them hope, man. But that performance last night, okay, D plus, C minus, D plus, C minus. That's what I'm gonna give them. Okay, that's where we are. But they could get better. All right. Yeah. I have a lot. I'm very optimistic these guys are gonna get better.
And also, I think too that I think one good thing to come from this, hopefully, right? This is being optimistic. Mm-hmm. But the fact that this happened on national TV, it was the only game on last night, and receiver room's a laughing stock across the league, and all those guys are seeing that. Yeah. The media's talking about it. Every fan base is talking about it. Everyone's tweeting at these guys. You have some, the bitter fans tweeting at these guys saying, "Oh, leave your jersey in the locker room and leave town." Like you say, stuff like that's going on. All these guys are hearing that. All 7 of these guys are talking about these rotations in the receiver room. They're hearing that. So, and not only they're hearing that, Mahomes is hearing that, and he's hearing his play calling is washed. All these guys are hearing that. So collectively, everyone should be all together in this as the season progresses. They can come together, and hopefully this could be one of those things where, it sucked in the moment, but yeah, it brought us together kind of deal. And hopefully that does happen.
Yeah, I do too. I think hopefully something good, and I think something will come good out of it. Now, here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you, this is the reason. Look, the guys are getting piled on already by everywhere, by anybody. Everybody's jumping all over, okay? And rightly so. People have have an issue with the drops, leading the NFL in drops. A lot of it goes into the coaching. Okay, now, let's not minimize that effect. We can't. So they need to be held accountable too. I'm gonna tell you, somebody else needs to be held accountable as well. Okay, people don't like hearing this and saying. Sometimes some of these things could be on PM15, taking some of the easier throws, and he's just not doing it. But it's not a big part in that. He's got to be the one to get these guys on the same page. He's a QB. I know how Trent, and I know PM's doing this. I'm not saying he's not, because I know he's doing that. I know he's doing it. But that extra film study has got to happen. And it might already be doing it right now. Okay. We just don't see the fruits of it at this moment, right? Sometimes just need the bad things that happen, the failures, to see the progression coming later on. And hopefully that's what it is. That's what it is. I don't want to keep piling on these guys. These guys have enough to worry about, and I'm not being like, we be soft on them. I'm not being soft on them at all. I'm telling you, get your butt out of bed and get to work. That's where I'm at with it. And MVS, Justin Watson, all receiving core. I need to let y'all understand this. I still got faith in you. Still behind you 100%. All right? I know what it feels like to be in that locker room. I know what it feels like to drop a ball, a pivotal ball in a game, to lose a game. I understand that. I've been there before. If that don't motivate you to get better, to turn this whole thing around, then nothing will. Nothing's going to do it. So your back's against the wall, been against the wall. Things not working out with you the way that you wanted it to. Best thing to do is get all the closeness, get that whole group together, and y'all all make sure, make a pact with each other that none of this is going to happen. It ain't going to be on you all. Y'all not going to be the weak point of the group. Y'all not going to be the weakest point, the weakest link. Not going to be it. So that's why I didn't give them an F. That's why I gave them a D, because they did a good job blocking. They did a good job blocking. So I'm looking at the whole full assessment. Kadarius Toney did a good job catching the football. Rasheed Rice did a good job catching the football. It ain't their fault they didn't get the ball later on. It's not their fault, Marcus. So we're gonna talk in reality here, okay? Rasheed Rice needs to see more than what he have. 5 targets. He's our number 1 receiver. 5 targets. He's the one that should have had 10 at least. He should be seeing that.
Yep.
Same thing, Kadarius Toney. 2 targets. He should see at least 6 to 8.
6 to 8 touches in general.
Come on.
Not including the punt return.
No, I'm talking about receiving. I'm talking about receptions.
Yep.
The targets. That's what I'm talking about. So in that locker room, we take care of each other. That's how it's got to be, okay? And this is what I'm talking about. You can't listen to the noise out here. Let the noise happen. Let all the boos and all that. Guess what? Embrace it all. Embrace it. Embrace it and go to work. Let it fuel you. That's what you do, man. So, all right, I'll calm down. But that's what I gave you guys. C minus D plus.
Fair.
Okay? They just got to go to work. Let me go to my tight ends. Travis had 9 targets, 7 receptions, 44 yards. Look, we know this. We understand at this moment, Travis Kelce going to get double and triple team, and 87 is not going to be able to beat you. They're not going to let him happen. Now, he's going to get away because you just can't stop Kelce. You only hope to contain him, right? Right? You talk about Jordan. He's going to get his touches. He's going to get his targets. And I love his blocking. The quiet things he's doing that people's not seeing is what I like about it. I mean, he's hitting some folks out there. He's blocking. He's doing a hell of a job with the blocking, man. And if you don't see it, Travis Kelce's that sucker's got a chip on the shoulder. He's got an attitude about this whole thing right now. I'm telling you. And I can see him steaming. I hear people, he looked like he checked out, and he looked like he's ready to retire and stuff like it. Travis Kelce is pissed. He is pissed right now. If you don't think that, you understand that, then you're not understanding what's going on. And he's trying to figure it out because he's just like, hey man, we just got to go back to work. I'm sure he's going to meeting. He's turning everything over. I would love to be in these meetings right now. I'm telling you, I'd love to be in the meetings right now. Shoot. I know he's pissed. He's going to help get these guys right. And I know he's saying, put it on me. Trav, I'm just going to tell you, let these other guys do what they need to do. You just keep inspiring these guys. That's your role. You keep balling out the way that you always ball out. That's your role. Okay? And you love these guys up and you talk them and walk them through this hard part of what they had to deal with in the game. This is what being a professional is all about. This is what being a Pro Bowl all about. This is what being the best in the business is all about now. You and PM15. Y'all got to do it. Okay? But him, Noah Gray, Blake Bell, I'm gonna give these guys a B. Okay? Give them a B.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah. He scores. I know that was a good play by the DB. I mean, what do you do? I mean, he punched right at the ball. Travis is still he's trying to run through 4 guys. Trying to run through 4 of them, right? Because he's trying to do more, right? He's Travis Kelce. He's got to do more. Okay? If nobody can make nothing happen, he can make things happen. He makes magic happen. Okay? But he can't have it all on his shoulders. And somebody's like, they got to be like, Travis, we'll take it from here. We'll take it off of some of your shoulders. All right? But I give these guys a B, man. Give these guys a B. But Travis Kelce is pissed right now. I know he is.
Yeah.
So this hopefully Taylor Swift is singing him some nice ballads to calm him down and relax him. So, he get his mind right and come on back. Come on back. The Travis is going to turn into a lion. Oh, right. I hear you. That's for sure. So that's where we are with that. And last but not least, QB. This is probably the toughest grade I had for this guy. I always talk about before I get into this, I always talk about because of who he is, I grade him extremely hard. I understand what his standard is. I know what his expectations are. What drives him is to be the best and to be successful. If he loses a game, he feels like he's failed. If he hadn't beat a team by 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, he feels like he's failed. If he's not throwing more than 300-some yards passing, he feels like he failed. And so he had 43 attempts for 177 yards. He put some balls on guys that why he's the best in the business. Really. And then he does the one in the end zone where he probably should have got to Justin Watson earlier. It comes up and it's a turnover. It just can't happen. He knows that one. Can't happen. Cannot happen. Patrick Mahomes, with the help of Travis Kelce and all the coaches, I think it's a guy that's going to be able to right this ship. As PM15 goes, the offense goes. Okay. And it might mean he needs to take everybody that's in the wide receiver room and moving them into their house, to his crib. Let them all sleep on his daggone couch. I don't know what has to happen, but it's times that I want Patrick he looks for the deep ball. Pat, check it down. Just check it down, Pat. Take what the defense is giving you. He does that, but he knows because when you have an ability to do something, I know it's always a hard thing to do, right? Like I'm a strong guy, okay? When I used to lift weights, like in the locker room, I would want to lift up all, the biggest weights just to see how strong I am, okay? One day after practice, I'm putting on the bench, things I kind of warm up with. This is after practice now. I toss on like 365. I'm warming up. 365, I warm up with that, okay? I was one of the strongest guys on the team, Marcus. So
yeah, I mean, I assumed you were, but like when I hear that, it's like, oh my god.
Dungeon, I can hold it down now.
My all-time max was 275 at my strongest.
Oh, okay.
That was my all-time max, 1 rep, but that was it.
Oh, I'm sorry. With 3, hey, that's good though. Shoot, from size and it, hey, that's good. For your size. I'm a big guy. I'm throwing around 300 pounders. For a living. I get paid for that.
Yeah.
One day in practice, after practice, I'm lifting 365 and get on there. And probably should have been doing lighter work than that. The muscles is probably a little fatigued. I get on the 365. I'm lifting. By my third one, I'm coming in. I tore my pec, and I could feel it.
Oh no!
And it felt like somebody took a knife. I kid you not, and like right up underneath my armpit, just ripped it. That's how I feel like it just ripped. And I tore my pec from the bone. There's a divot right through here. And I remember it was so much pain that I stood up with it. I set up with the weight and threw it in front of me. I took the 365, set up with it, and threw it. Just adrenaline and stuff. And I said, daggone it, JD, you probably should have been doing less weight than that in the warm-up. But because I could do it. I know I could do it. I had to try it. Pat, I'm saying that to say, Pat, I know you can make those throws. I know you can do all those different things. sometimes the check down works. We'll move the chains. Check down works. Okay. And I know he needs to see it. He needs to do a little bit more of that. But Patrick Mahomes, I'm gonna give Pat a B-. Is what I'm gonna give him. He has, if he hits a couple of these balls, Justin Watson catches one on the outside, and MVS catches one for a touchdown, he's up to 300 yards, close to it. He's going to be around, 289, 300. And the drop passes, and then the one at the end of the game. That ball was right up. That pass to Justin Watson at the end for the first down.
Yeah.
That's Patrick Mahomes.
That was nice.
That's the baseball throw. Yes. That's what that watching Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
On point. Goes right through his hands, man. That's hot potato. That is hot potato. But, dude, I'm telling you, we got to catch those. In those plays of the game, we got to catch them. I think at the end, man, you still look for Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
That's me. But hey, that to me, he's trusting Justin Watson. He trusts Justin Watson. That's why he threw it to him 11 times. He trusts Justin Watson.
Yeah.
Trust him. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
I will say historically, though, I mean, he has suspect hands, and it's interesting that he's scared to throw to Rice. I mean, like there was that one play you and I were texting about where he like kind of double clutched him, and then he ended up throwing it to him in the end. But like, I mean, the history of the last 2 years, Watson has dropped passes. I mean, that was the reason why he left Tampa Bay, because he was dropping balls, and Brady wasn't having that. And then last night's game alone, with 3 balls he dropped.
Is that what happened? Is that what Brady said, that he wasn't having it?
That was the rumor behind that. I don't know for sure. I'm guessing based on Brady's outburst on the sidelines. He's not having any of these drop passes.
This guy's out of here. I don't care what you do. He's got to go. I don't care who you get rid of. It's going to be me and him. Who's going to be? It'll be Justin Watson. Okay, Denny Packard.
Yeah.
But this is the thing though. So he comes here. He gets his career back on track. And we signed him to a $3 million deal. So he may be showing these things in practice. He's catching it and trusting it.
Yeah.
That's what happens for that's how it registers to a quarterback. What's dude's catching everything in practice? Shoot, I could go to him and trust him in the game.
Have you ever seen guys that are like practice all-stars, like Pro Bowlers in practice, and then when it comes to game day, that's just not who they are? I mean, is that you've seen guys like that?
I've seen guys like that. Justin Watson been doing a good job this year. You know what I mean? He has. Look, it was raining last night, but the way they make gloves and stuff right now, he should be catching the ball. I'm not making excuses for the guy.
No, I get it.
Not. The one he stacks the receiver, now get back outside. You should know that. End of the game, I don't care what you need to do, catch that football. So that's to me, he's trusting Watson for a reason. And maybe because other guys are not stepping up. I don't know. That's what I'm looking at. But Rashee Rice, give it to him. Bad guy. Facts. Tom Brady was the king of checks down. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. That little 5-yard little turn that he would do with Edelman and those guys, Welker. I mean, come on. He lived on that.
Oh, yeah.
He lived on it. He looked like he looking all the way down the field like he was going to throw it deep.
Yeah. A little whip route. JD, before we move on to special teams here, Mike Brennan's got a question for you. What's your all-time max rep?
Ooh, what's my all-time max rep? I remember in college I did 520 one time.
That was your max rep?
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, 520 was yeah. This was college. This was after practice. So 520. Yeah.
Do they? I know high school and college is the big thing. The whole maxing. Once you get to the pros, is that not really a thing anymore?
Man, shoot, who you impressing? You're strong. You're in the lead. You're in the lead now. And then now sometimes there's days that guys will pull it out. Okay. Now, and I love strength coaches. I got to bring Jeff Hurd on here to talk about it because that's some of the greatest times is in the weight room, seeing guys. Okay. And actually seeing how weak some guys are. You're like, man, I thought this guy's stronger than that. It might not be as strong in like lifting weights.
Yeah.
And some dudes, like little guys, case in point, D Block, Derek Blaylock, strong.
Really?
Strong. That makes sense why his kids are like they are, like superstars. And
yeah,
he's training guys. D Block was strong. He was a strong guy. He was strong, man. He could just run through guys for his size. So, yeah, guys will show up every once in a while, kind of put on a little powder, take their hands up, turn the music all the way up, you know what I mean?
Funny.
Yeah, you're going to have those days, of course. But 520, I remember doing it in college, my senior year. But yeah, I could throw some weight around. Still can.
You threw some massive human beings around, so I mean,
human beings.
I can't.
I folded jokers up for a living, okay, and I was very good at it.
Yes, sir.
So they would let you know, JD is strong. It ain't nothing. And so get his meat hooks. That's why his meat hooks are so good. Okay. So I could snatch a grown man. So snatch his lungs out of his chest. But yeah, man.
So JD, take us away here with the final grade for the night, our special teams grade.
Final grade, special teams. Special teams grade. And somebody suggested this, and I'm gonna do it. So I'm suggesting that I do the punters and the kickers different than the rest of them. And I'll give Tommy. Tommy didn't really have a good game punting either. I'm gonna give him a C. Tommy gets a C. Buckner, I mean, he gets an A. He didn't miss anything, so that's as simple as possible. Our punt cover team and return team, man, these guys they get a D. It's a D on that, man. Still not giving. We don't understand how vital it is to have a return game to help with field position. That I just don't get it. The difference that I seen in the Eagles' return game and our return game was glaring. The way they came off, pushed our guys back, and running and giving the return guy room to run. Night and day, absolute night and day. So I don't understand what's going on. I fussed about this over and over again. I don't think anybody's listening to me. Hopefully they take this message and say, Jay Dunn said y'all suck right now at the punt, return, and cover game. It's just terrible. Terrible. And you got to do a better job. And if you're not getting reps in a game and your only job is play special teams, you're not getting it done, then they need to find somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, the punt return game looked good. There was that look. There was one of Tony's long returns that looked good. That was all Tony. For the time he catches the ball, he's got a dude in his face. He's breaking tackles. I mean, he's breaking tackles like a madman, and he's getting up the field. It's all him doing it. I mean, whereas the Eagles, that guy's untouched for about 7 yards before he finally gets his first person coming to him. So there's the differences right there. You see it automatically as soon as they catch the ball.
And I'm just gonna say it. Some of the guys that just not doing their job are starters. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
No.
Because we need to give these guys an opportunity to return balls. If you're the backup corner or nickel guy or safety, your butt ain't getting in the game. Make a difference somehow. Like you said, we shouldn't be having a guy in our face all the time. It's nonstop. If it ain't the gunner, it's somebody from the interior. Like a complete lack of consistency all across the board. And then we don't cover. They let that guy shoot. What do he have? Return? Heck, what do he have? Punt return. Yeah, he averaged 17 yards of return. 26 long. 353 yards. That's giving them field position.
Yep.
I mean, we have 6 for 58 yards, 9.7. And Tony had to make guys miss.
I know.
All right. So, man, that's it, man. I'm done. I know it's a long talk and conversation. But that's my assessment of the game. Let me my final thought on this. 2 best teams in the NFL played last night. Okay. Coaching staff, we need to do a much better job. Spags, you've been doing a tremendous job. Keep it going. Keep the pressure on these guys, all the offenses out here, because you're doing a masterful job putting guys in position. You are. And you got the guys to do it. And you watch them grow. And you created this. And they're doing a hell of a job for you. Bravo. Offensive side of the ball. Nagy and maybe Andy in this. Y'all got to get these guys on the same page. This lull in our offense and not scoring points the second half in the last 3 games is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And a lot of it is just the tempo and the rotation of what the things that we're doing. It's the lull in calling the right plays, gaming the rhythm to win in the second half. Teams are making adjustments and we're not. Doesn't seem like it. It's 60 minutes. You tell the guys 60 minutes. Coaches, it's got to be 60 minutes for them too. Okay? So now what we need to do, get these guys going, need to run the football effectively. You've been running the football and it's been working. Run the daggone football. Run it. Let's go open up the pass. Let's go open it up. Help your receivers out. Help them out. Yeah. But fans and everybody out here, listen, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. I know we got the Raiders, we got the Bills, we got Raiders again, Chargers. Okay. Who else? Cincinnati.
Yeah.
We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. I trust our defense. Our defense understand what they need to do. Yeah. We just need to score 24 points a game. We'll win.
Yeah.
That's it. Offense. You need to score 3 touchdowns and a field goal, and you win. Ball game. Ball game. Dub in the column. Ball game. Because our defense is going to hold them under 20. They ain't going to give them no more than 3 touchdowns. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's all. Anything over that is a bonus. It's a bonus. But find it. Look for 4 touchdowns. You just say to yourself, 4 touchdowns, I don't care what it looks like. We win. We win. So, it's my final thought. We're going to be all right. Let all these other ones out here hating and stuff, man, forget that. Yeah. Look, we can't keep pounding our wide receivers. We understand that. Okay, sure. Well, you want to give them a complex, and one day they already got one. You're just going to make it even worse for them?
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna talk them out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Build these guys up, man. I get it. Get them a piece of your mind, and then get back to picking them up.
Yeah. Put the game away. We did the grades, put it away, and now on to, like the famous Bill Belichick said, on to Cincinnati, on to Las Vegas.
On Las Vegas. We move on. Thing is, we move on.
Yep.
These are the guys that's in the arena. They're the ones that's in the arena.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right, Marcus. I'm done.
So, all right, everybody. Well, it was great grades, JD. I agree with all of them. I think I don't think you were harsh at all this week. I mean, I thought you were just real this week. Sometimes I'm like, he's really harsh here, but this week I thought you were just real. I mean, you're always real. But I want to thank everybody for being in the chat for the full hour and a half. Loved your feedback and engagement as always.
Sorry for the long show. We didn't mean to be that long. But
JD, the fans love it. Our chief concern, the maniacs love it. But yeah, so tomorrow night, like I said, we'll be back here on a live show at 7 p.m. We'll have former NFL coach Larry Kirksey, current USFL coach, receivers coach in the NFL for a very long time, Coach Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens. You guys bring all your receiver questions to the show tomorrow night at 7 p.m. JD and I will be here at 7 p.m. tomorrow night, and you obviously can find the show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you find your podcasts. So yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. JD, love you, brother.
Hey, love you too, man. All right. Hey, appreciate y'all guys coming on. Come see us tomorrow. It's going to be a heck of a show. You want to hear about wide receivers and all of that and his assessment of it? Come check us out tomorrow. All right. Love you guys. Okay. All love you first. Love you, baby.
See everybody. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcast.